Hi everybody, welcome to the show.
Hi everybody, welcome back to our channel, Raising A to Z. My name is Amanda, and today we're going to talk about how to host a poetry tea party and why it might be something you want to include in your homeschooling. So the concept of a poetry tea comes from Julie Bogart. She is the homeschool mom behind the Brave Writer program. She also has an amazing book called The Brave Learner. I did a review about that book. If you want to learn about that book, you can find that here, but it is a great book. And so she came up with this concept of having a poetry tea with her kids on a regular basis. And once I learned what it was like the perfect thing for our homeschooling. Also, the funny thing is, just as I was discovering poetry teas, I asked Alexi what she wanted to learn this year in her homeschooling. Like, what did she want to include? Did she want to have more art lessons? Did she want to do more math? What did she want to learn? So one of the things Alexi said, completely unprompted, she just looked at me and said, I want to have more tea parties at homeschool. And so here we are having at least once a month, we have a poetry tea. So poetry teas are super great because they're an awesome way to encourage literacy in a way that doesn't feel like school. So it's a great way to just relax, share things, and just kind of hang out, enjoy reading and sharing poetry without the stress of it being an academic subject or an academic activity. So it's a great way to increase your literacy in your household, and it's just a lot of fun, and the kids get a lot out of it. So the first thing I like to do is make some snacks. Now, this is great because you can customize your snacks to your family and to what they like when you're having your tea party and to any dietary restrictions. So for example, obviously we make a lot of our stuff Alexi friendly, so her muffins, for example, are often dairy-free, grain-free, egg-free, nut-free, or like we like to call them Alexi-friendly. So we do that for her. But the other great thing is you can really customize the snacks you're having to what you can do and to the season. So for example, you can have gingerbread cookies when you're closer to the holidays and Christmas time, or strawberry shortcakes during the summer. You can do fruit kebabs or, your favorite chocolate chip cookies. Banana muffins are a really popular choice for my family. So the morning of our poetry tea, we like to pick a recipe and make something that we're going to have during our tea time that day. And it's a great way to incorporate some other kind of life skills and math and science into your learning without it being, again, an academic activity. It just feels very natural. So that's a really fun way to do it. So now that you have a snack, the next thing you might want to do is set the scene. So what we like to do is we clear our dining room table and we pull out our real china, like we use the real glass that we have. We have a couple different tea sets or teacups or mugs that we use depending on what we're having. And so we'll set the scene. We'll put out the cups and the saucers, the plates, the teapot. We put out candles. If I have flowers, we'll get some flowers. And we just make it really, really as nice as we can using the stuff we have around the house. And even then, we'll even put on some music. So it's a great way to incorporate just listening to different styles of music too. So sometimes we'll put on classical, sometimes it's jazz, sometimes if we're doing kind of a tropical theme, we might put on some Caribbean music. It's a great way to incorporate different music styles too. We put it on nice and soft in the background and we just get ready and have our tea party. Once we all sit down and we serve our tea, again, whatever kind of tea you want. At Christmas time, we often have hot chocolate. Sometimes we have raspberry herbal tea. Sometimes we just have some iced tea, which is what we had today. This is just iced tea. The kids think it's fun to come out of a teapot. Hey, whatever works, right? So then we'll sit down, we'll serve our tea, have our snacks, and start eating. And once we get into it, then we'll start doing some of our poetry time or our reading time. So Julie started this with poetry. So it's called a poetry tea time. But I kind of use whatever I've got. I was lucky enough to find a set of these Shel Silverstein poetry anthologies, a 3-pack at Chapters. They were on sale for $15, which was a great price. But you can also use whatever you have. So we've done an author study where we were doing the works of Barbara Reed. We actually sat down and just read Barbara Reed books for half an hour while we had our tea. We've also done Christmas stories. We've done a couple chapters from a book that the kids are really into. So that's what we do. My kids are young. They can't read themselves. But as they get older, they can pick their own story that they want to read. Maybe they pick their own poems that they enjoy. Or eventually maybe they can get into sharing some of their own poetry that they've written. So that's kind of the nice thing, is as they get older, you can get into more discussions about the poetry or the stories that you've chosen, and they get to do more reading as well as maybe sharing some of their own works. So that's always a really fun thing to look forward to. And that's about it. We sit down, we share a cup of tea, a couple snacks, and some poetry, and it's like the highlight of my kids' week. And I think that's a really important thing to remember when we're homeschooling, is that the schooling is not the most important part. It's the home, and making everything feel like it's just part of your life and part of your home. And so having a tea party and sitting around and sharing books and food and company is a great way to just make learning and reading and poetry and writing such a normal part of your life. And so that's something that we've continued to do. We do it about once a month. Sometimes, like if we're been, for example, we're in quarantine right now, we might do it more often. But it's just something our kids love. And it's something that we can easily adapt to the seasons, the holidays, and to them as they grow up. So if you like this video and other videos that we put out, please click the bell and subscribe below. And make sure you follow us on Instagram and Facebook, where we post things like this, talk about our poetry teas or other activities that we're doing. And if you host a poetry tea, leave a comment below, because we would love to know exactly how it went for you guys. So thank you for watching, and until next time, cheers.